pie is a real favourite in our household, so I'm going to show you how to make one fully using the Ninja. So this is a one pot method. We're going to make the mash in there first, and then afterwards we're going to make the gorgeous juicy meat filling and then bake it all at the end. This is such a great recipe, really versatile. You can add in extras if you like, take out things that I'm using, but I'm going to show you step by step how to create it. We're going to do this in 2 steps, and to start with it's going to be cooking these potatoes. So I've chopped them into smallish cubes like this. Just helps them to cook a bit quicker, and they're all peeled. That's 1.2 kilograms of potatoes that's gone in there. And I'm just making up some stock. You can use beef, vegetable, chicken, whatever you want. So pour that straight over your potatoes. And that is 700 millilitres. Now we're going to pop the lid down, and then we're going to get this pressure cooked. So I want to pressure cook this on high for 10 minutes, and we want a quick release. Make sure that your valve is on seal and press start. I always find it's better to cook these first because they're going to go on top. Once these are done, I can take them out, mash them, put them to one side, and then we can get on with the meat and vegetable filling. Whilst the potatoes are softening in the pressure cook option, we're going to prepare our ingredients. So I've got some bacon. If you've got some bacon lardons, then you can use them. I'm just going to chop this up fairly fine. We're going to get this lovely and crispy, and it's going to let out all of that gorgeous bacon fat when we cook this. I've prepared already some celery. We're going to have some carrot in here because I really enjoy the sweetness that gives. Oh, I finally got another new knife, another kitchen devil. Absolutely love this knife, it's brilliant. Other things that are going to be going into this cottage pie is a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, some paprika, some garlic powder, some dried mixed herbs, some basil, salt and pepper. It's going to have so much flavour. I've got some beef mince in here, and I go for a 5% fat beef mince. This one was from Marks and Spencer's, and it looks pretty good. Now I've got a couple of carrots, so we just need to prep those, and I want them cut into fine little pieces. So I just make like little batons and then just dice them the other way. This is my celery that I diced up earlier. A little tip that I have for celery, which I always use, was, to be honest, this celery was going a little bit manky in the bottom of the fridge, but still more than usable. So what I've done is I've chopped up enough for today's recipe, and then I've put the rest in a freezer bag and popped it in the freezer just so I can use it another time. Something I don't usually put in a cottage pie is some sweet corn, and we can put that in from frozen. Again, very optional, but I think it's just great. If you can add more veg, then why wouldn't you really? That's the one thing I do find with the Ninja, is quite often when I'm cooking, I don't put a lot of vegetables into my recipes. I tend to end up cooking it separate on the hob. But I am trying to look at some recipes that will be more of a sort of tiered, you know, when you use the rack, and then you can put your vegetables in the middle. When my mashed potato is done later, I fancied adding a little bit of cheese to the top, and I've got this Gruyere left over, so why not use that instead of cheddar? I think that'll melt love. I've got some diced shallot here out of the freezer, so I'm going to be using that today, but if not, just dice up an onion. I think 1 onion should be plenty in this recipe, or around sort of 100 grams. Once the potatoes are done, they'll still be sitting in that stock that we put in there. So I'm going to pour them in here, drain those off, and we're going to reserve that beef stock for later. I'm trying to be as careful as possible. We've added so much flavour by having that stock in there. When you do this, just be really careful because it's so hot. Keep it really simple. I'm going to add some butter, and then I'm also going to add some very indulgent cream and a little bit of salt, and just mash these up. They don't take much mashing. They are lovely and soft. Right, back to my pot now, and I'm going to put some spray oil in here, and that is on the sear and saute option. I'm going to start off by adding my bacon because we want to get this nicely cooked and a little bit crisp. Don't worry about the little bit of carrot that's gone in there. I'll be adding the carrot very shortly anyway. Pop that in as well. Also going to pop in the celery that we chopped up earlier. Now pour in the onion. It's all diced up nice and finely. Starting to smell really, really good. The next ingredient is going to be my beef. I'm just going to break this up as we're cooking it, and we want to get this so that it is slightly brown. It doesn't have to be fully cooked. We're not trying to do that here. We're just browning this off. Whilst the beef is cooking, we're going to season this up. So we want a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of basil, half a teaspoon of paprika. We want 1 teaspoon of garlic granules or garlic powder, and then also a teaspoon of Italian dried mixed herbs. And then the last thing is a 1/4 of a teaspoon of ground black pepper. This is completely optional at this stage, but I'm going to pop in a glug splash. I haven't got a quantity for that. It's just a little bit of red wine. We had some open. I'm just going to let that cook down because we don't want the alcohol left in this dish, but it does add a depth of flavour. I've now turned off the sear and saute. I'm going to go in with frozen sweetcorn and around 3/4 of a cup of this beef stock that we saved from earlier. Want to make sure that we've got enough liquid because we're actually going to pressure cook this to finish off the cooking. That's going to make sure that those carrots are lovely and tender, the fat is rendered down in the bacon, and we've got that meat fully cooked. All right, slide over to pressure cook. We're going to pop that on high. Again, we want a quick release like we had before, making sure the valve is sealed, and I'm going to go with 7 minutes on high. Whilst that comes to pressure, I thought we might as well grate our cheese. There is my cheese all ready to go. The mashed potato looks really good. Obviously it's darker in colour because I used that beef stock, but I have tasted this and I'm telling you it's absolutely delicious, full of flavour. Might have a little mouthful. Delicious. Pressure was released and this is what we are now left with. So it's a little bit liquidy, which is what I was expecting. So you could put this onto sear and saute and thicken it up. Of course, you could add a little bit of corn flour, or you could just add some gravy granules. I think I'm gonna go with some gravy granules because my son absolutely loves them. And it's a quick and easy way of just thickening that up. What I really love about pressure cooking here is that the carrots go really lovely and tender and soft, and it's so quick and easy. Now we just need to add the mash that we prepared earlier. I'm going to just add it in little dollops as I go round, and that way I think it's going to be easier to then spread it out on top. Seemed like so many potatoes, didn't it? But this is literally only just going to really cover this. So if you like a thicker layer of potatoes and you've got a lot of people eating this, then to be honest, I'd probably double that up. Add our cheese over the top. The options that I would say would work really well with this right now is that if you're going to eat this straight away, maybe just grill the top just to get that potato back warm and that cheese all lovely and gooey and melted. If, however, you're going to let it sit for a little bit and it's going to cool down slightly, I would pop it onto air fry or bake just to finish that off and get that heated through so it is really piping hot again. The great thing with the keep warm option is that it will hold your food at a temperature that is safe, and that is up to 12 hours. So that is great. So if you need to delay like eating a recipe and you want to cook it slightly earlier, then keep warm is very, very good. I've had this on bake for nearly 15 minutes and look how beautifully crispy and yummy that top looks. Let's dive right in and serve up a portion of this gorgeous cottage pie. Look at that, all made in the Ninja, one pot. It was really simple and easy. I've served mine with some peas and it looks really tasty. Thank you so much for watching my video. That cottage pie was absolutely stunning. The mash had so much flavour being cooked, pressure cooked with that stock, and the actual cottage pie itself was beautiful. My husband went back for seconds, which is always a good sign, and my son really enjoyed it too. I hope you give this recipe a try. If you do, remember to leave me a comment and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And I hope to see you next time for another video. Thanks for watching.